You crave power, but power doesn't come from noise. It comes from silence, from the man who endures what others complain about. Every outburst is weakness, disguised as passion. Every complaint is proof you've already lost control. You think you're strong because you speak your pain. But the truly dominant man, he bleeds in private and builds in silence. He conquers himself before he conquers anyone else. Because power is not about control over others. It's about control over yourself, your emotions, your impulses, your ego. The world bows to the man who needs nothing. Not approval, not comfort, not validation. That's the man you must become. Comment below. I master myself. I conquer the world. Say it and mean it. Welcome to Machiavellian mode. Number 1, the war within. You are your own battlefield, and the first enemy you must annihilate is your own weakness. Every time you react out of emotion, you hand over your power like a fool, surrendering his sword to the very thing he should dominate. Self-control isn't about suppression. It's about precision, timing, and dominance. It's the discipline to strike when it's strategically perfect, not when your ego demands release. The world is overflowing with men who drown in their emotions, chasing dopamine, validation, and momentary pleasure. You will not be one of them. You will rise above impulse. You will become the man who commands himself like a ruthless general, cold, aware, untouchable. Power begins within. The man who controls his reactions controls his fate. Every urge resisted is a victory carved into your spirit. Every silence maintained becomes a sharpened blade. The weak fight everyone. The powerful fight only themselves and win every single time. Control is the essence of masculine power, the foundation of psychological warfare. When you master yourself, no one can master you. Comment below. I am the commander of my mind. Say it aloud, own it, and let the world feel your restraint like the shadow of a king rising. Number 2, the architecture of power. Power is not an accident. It is an architecture built brick by brick, through ruthless self-discipline and strategic restraint. The men who appear powerful to the public, the kings, the leaders, the conquerors, are only reflections of their internal mastery. The weak crave control over others because they cannot even control their own thoughts. The strong appear calm because they've already fought every internal war. Self-control is not the rejection of emotion, it's the command of it. It's knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to observe, when to destroy and when to wait. Every great strategist, every Machiavellian mind understood that timing is the invisible hand that bends reality. You must become patient enough to watch the storm without moving, to watch chaos unfold without trembling. Because the man who reacts is a slave, but the man who calculates becomes a ruler. You must learn to observe people like a scientist studying weakness. Notice who complains, who seeks validation, who cannot sit still in silence. Those are the ones already conquered. You, on the other hand, must cultivate emotional neutrality, the ability to stay unmoved while everyone else is drowning in noise. In that stillness, you will begin to see the truth. People reveal their entire psychology through their reactions, but you will reveal nothing. To become untouchable, you must operate like a shadow, present, aware, but invisible in your intent. Let others be loud. Your silence will become your signal of power. The more control you have over yourself, the less anyone can manipulate you. Every time you refuse to react, your aura grows darker, heavier, more commanding. That is the architecture of dominance built from restraint, reinforced by patience, protected by silence. Comment below. My silence is my weapon. Say it with conviction and watch how quickly the world starts to move around you, not against you. Number 3, the discipline of emotion. Emotion is the most dangerous weapon ever forged, and the weakest men are the ones who wield it carelessly. The world teaches you to express everything, to release your anger, your sadness, your fear. But what they don't tell you is that expression is exposure. Every time you show your emotional hand, you give the enemy a map of your weaknesses. The Machiavellian mind knows that emotion must be owned, not shown. Power is not in the feeling, it is in the restraint. To feel deeply and still move logically, that is the essence of dark control. Anger can be transformed into fuel, pain into precision, heartbreak into strategy. Every powerful man in history knew how to weaponize emotion instead of being enslaved by it. The Stoic doesn't deny his feelings. He studies them, dissects them, and redirects them like a surgeon of the psyche. When someone tries to provoke you, they are seeking entry into your mind. When you stay still, calm, and unbothered, they are denied entry, and they fear you for it. Your control becomes psychological dominance. The man who cannot be provoked cannot be manipulated, and the man who cannot be manipulated becomes unstoppable. You must train yourself to detach from outcomes, detach from ego, detach from noise. Do not react to disrespect. Transform it into quiet ambition. Do not fight for recognition. Make your results roar louder than your words ever could. Feel emotion, but do not let emotion feel you. The more you can remain centered in storms, the more others will orbit around your gravity. Cold emotion is power, refined emotion is strategy, and mastered emotion is empire. You are not meant to be emotionally numb. You are meant to be emotionally sovereign. Comment below, "My emotions obey me." Say it again with iron conviction, and remember, the man who rules his heart never kneels to the chaos of the world. Number 4. The psychology of control. Control is not about domination of others. It is about the invisible command of yourself in every possible situation. The mind that cannot control itself is a puppet waiting for a master. Every advertisement, every trend, every social manipulation is designed to pull the strings of your attention, your desires, your fears. The modern man is not enslaved by chains. He is enslaved by impulses. The moment you scroll, mindlessly complain about circumstances, or react emotionally, you have already handed over your throne. The true Machiavellian knows that freedom is not comfort. It is control. To control your attention is to control your destiny. To control your emotions is to control your power. To control your time is to control your empire. Every minute wasted on distraction is a brick stolen from the fortress you are building. Control begins with awareness. Awareness sharpens into discipline, and discipline becomes instinct. The cold mind operates like a chess player, never moving from impulse, always thinking several moves ahead. People will try to provoke you, seduce you, confuse you. They will bait your ego, challenge your pride, and test your patience. But remember this: the one who remains calm controls the game. The one who can delay reaction dictates outcome. Your strength lies not in how hard you hit, but in how quietly you plan. Every act of restraint is a declaration of power. Control your words. A single careless sentence can reveal your strategy. Control your emotions. A single reaction can expose your weakness. Control your desires. A single craving can chain you to mediocrity. Learn to move like smoke, fluid, invisible, untouchable. When people believe they understand you, they will seek to manipulate you. When they cannot read you, they will respect you. The Machiavellian mind doesn't fight for control. It becomes control. It radiates authority not through dominance, but through composure. Your control must be so complete that even chaos seems to bend around your will. Every great empire begins within. Comment below, "I am in control of myself and my fate." Say it and embody it, because once you master yourself, the world has no weapon left against you. And that is when true power begins. Number 5, the cold truth of power. Power does not bow to emotion, morality, or fairness. It bends only to control, calculation, and endurance. The world is not governed by those who deserve power. It is ruled by those who take it without hesitation. The man who cries for justice is already powerless because he waits for permission from a world that owes him nothing. The powerful do not ask. They position themselves so they never need to. Control is not given. It is forged through solitude, silence, and brutal honesty with oneself. Every illusion of comfort must die. Every soft habit must be burned out of your system. The Machiavellian man understands this truth. Comfort is the enemy of control. You cannot dominate reality while being addicted to ease. The path to dominance begins in discomfort, in rejection, in discipline repeated until it becomes instinct. Power is not loud. It does not announce itself. It moves in silence, hidden, beneath composure and mystery. The more people know of your intentions, the weaker they become. Secrecy is strength. Control your image, control your words, and the world will chase shadows trying to decode your purpose. The man who hides his plan owns the board. He lets others reveal their motives while he remains unreadable, unpredictable, unshakable. That is the psychology of dominance. When others react to your silence, when their emotions reveal what they think you hide, let them guess, let them project, let them underestimate. Every misunderstanding becomes a weapon in your hands. Never seek validation. That is the addiction of the weak. The powerful man doesn't beg to be seen. He radiates strength through stillness. He studies people, their patterns, their weaknesses, and turns that knowledge into leverage. He does not rage at betrayal. He expects it and uses it as fuel. Detachment is his armor. Patience is his sword. Precision is his crown. While others chase instant gratification, he builds invisible empires brick by brick, move by move, decision by decision. To the Machiavellian mind, emotion is energy to be redirected, not indulged. The colder he becomes, the clearer he sees. The more detached he grows, the deeper his control. Every reaction resisted, every urge mastered, every emotion tamed, strengthens his fortress within. The man who cannot be provoked cannot be defeated. Comment below, I am ice in a world of fire. Say it again and let it echo in your mind like a vow. When your emotions freeze and your will hardens, nothing can touch you. You have entered Machiavellian mode. Number 6, the art of psychological warfare. Power is not about strength. It is about strategy. The world runs on perception, and the one who controls perception controls everything. Psychological warfare begins, not with the others, but with yourself. Because before you can manipulate the external world, you must conquer the inner one. Every weakness within you is a potential weapon in the hands of someone else. If you do not master your mind, someone will weaponize it against you. The Machiavellian mind does not move emotionally. It moves with precision, calculation, and ruthless foresight. You must learn to anticipate human behavior, to understand motives before they are spoken, to see the invisible patterns beneath people's actions. Most individuals are predictable. They react the same way to fear, praise, rejection, and temptation. Once you learn the patterns, you can guide outcomes without lifting a finger. Power becomes subtle influence, not open domination. To win the psychological game, you must become unreadable yet observant, silent yet aware, detached yet deeply strategic. The moment people think they understand you, they stop fearing you. But when they cannot read your intent, they become uncertain. And uncertainty is terror in the human mind. The Machiavellian man uses ambiguity as armor. He lets others project their expectations, fears, and desires onto him while he remains internally still, analyzing, adapting, and deciding in silence. In every room, power belongs to the man who needs the least and observes the most. You must train your awareness until nothing escapes you. Not tone, not body language, not timing. Most people listen to respond. The powerful listen to read. Every word reveals something. Every gesture leaks psychology. If you are calm while others are emotional, you will always hold the upper hand. Emotional men reveal their plans in their reactions. Controlled men execute theirs without speaking. The art of psychological warfare demands patience. You must become the quiet observer in a world of noise. When others rush to respond, you wait. When others fight for dominance, you study the battlefield. When they waste energy proving themselves, you can serve yours for the strike that ends everything. You must learn to give people the illusion of control. Let them believe they are leading while you subtly direct the outcome. Never confront power directly. Redirect it. The river does not fight the rock. It flows around it and wears it down over time. That is true control. Soft, relentless, inevitable. Use your words like weapons, but wield them sparingly. The more you speak, the more you reveal. Speak less, and when you do, every word will carry the weight of a verdict. Never argue with fools. Silence destroys their confidence faster than any debate. Let your composure become a mirror that reflects their instability. In every confrontation, your calmness must feel like dominance, your quietness like authority. Power is psychological. It is the ability to impose emotion without showing any. Learn to shift the atmosphere in a room through presence. Alone, your energy must say what your mouth never will, that you are in control. To reach that level, you must detach from outcome, from praise, from recognition. You must learn to enjoy invisibility because it grants freedom. The powerful man does not need to be seen. He chooses to be unseen until it's too late for others to stop him. Every smile can hide a plan. Every handshake can mask a test. Every silence can hold 1,000 calculations. This is the true Machiavellian way. Never blunt, always strategic. Master the balance between warmth and coldness. Show just enough humanity to disarm, but never enough to be predictable. The cold man without empathy is feared but not followed. The cold man who understands emotion but does not surrender to it commands loyalty and respect. Remember, control is never about domination. It's about influence so subtle that people think it's their own idea. When they fight your battles for you without realizing it, you have achieved true psychological warfare. The key is to appear harmless while being utterly prepared to destroy. To be underestimated is the greatest advantage you can possess. When people think you are soft, they lower their guard. When you strike, it's too late. This game is not for the impatient or the sentimental. It is for those willing to sacrifice comfort for control, ego for empire, emotion for precision. You must think like a ruler, not a follower. Every conversation is a negotiation, every reaction a test, every relationship a power dynamic. Once you understand that everything is strategy, life becomes your chessboard. Control the board, not just the pieces. That is how you win without ever needing to shout. Comment below. I control perception. Therefore, I control power. Say it again until it becomes truth. Because the world is ruled not by the strongest or the kindest, but by the most controlled mind in the room. Number 7. The fortress mind. The mind is the ultimate fortress, and most men leave its gates wide open. They let emotions invade, opinions infiltrate, and weakness walk through the door unchallenged. To become untouchable, you must construct your mind into an impenetrable fortress built on discipline, guarded by logic and ruled by control. Every thought is a soldier. Every belief is a wall. Weak men build their fortresses out of comfort and validation. They crumble at the first sign of resistance. But you, the Machiavellian mind, will build yours from solitude and self-reliance. You must learn to love the silence that others fear. In silence, the mind sharpens. In noise, it decays. The fortress mind does not panic, does not react, does not chase. It observes, analyzes, and strikes only when necessary. Every insult becomes irrelevant. Every distraction becomes transparent. You must understand this truth. The world's chaos has no power over the man who has mastered his internal order. When you can stand calm in the face of insult, rejection, or betrayal, you are no longer human. You are something rarer, something feared. The modern world thrives on distraction. They want you emotionally overstimulated, addicted to reaction, enslaved by information. The strong mind resists this pull. It detaches. It watches the noise like a distant storm, knowing it cannot breach the walls of his composure. You must fortify your focus as if your life depends on it. because it does. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your power either grows or dies. Never let the trivial consume the essential. Guard your time like a king guards his throne. Do not allow weak conversations, pointless arguments, or cheap pleasures to trespass into your mental empire. Every time you indulge in mediocrity, you weaken your defenses. The fortress. Mind thrives on control of thought, reaction, and perception. You must master the art of thinking clearly under pressure. When others break under chaos, you must remain analytical, detached, precise. A strong mind turns obstacles into opportunities and criticism into data. You do not internalize negativity. You dissect it, extract value, discard weakness, and move forward. Emotional resilience is not built by comfort. It is forged in the fires of endurance. Every hardship you face is another stone in your fortress wall. Embrace the pressure. It strengthens your mental armor. Solitude will become your training ground. In isolation, the weak feel loneliness. The strong find clarity. Do not run from being alone. It's where you meet the real architect of your destiny, yourself. Speak less. Think more. Act deliberately. The fortress mind moves with purpose, never with impulse. To master this state, you must develop detachment from everything temporary: money, praise, relationships, even identity. When nothing external defines you, no external force can destroy you. The mind becomes dangerous when it no longer seeks approval or fears rejection. In this state, you are calm yet commanding, silent yet powerful, invisible yet ever present. You will be misunderstood, accepted. You will be isolated. Embrace it. The fortress mind does not need validation because its foundation is self-respect. Discipline becomes your guard tower. Observation your weapon, self-control your wall. Every time you resist the urge to react, you reinforce your defense. Every time you act strategically instead of emotionally, you strengthen your throne. The fortress mind does not fight for peace. It creates it. Chaos bends before composure. Weakness flees from certainty. Fear dissolves under awareness. This is the evolution of the Machiavellian man. From reactive creature to controlled architect. You no longer need to prove your strength because your silence already proves it. The man who can sit still while others panic holds invisible power. The man who can think clearly when emotions cloud the air becomes the one everyone eventually obeys. Remember, the walls of your fortress are not built in a day. They are built in every moment you choose discipline over desire, awareness over distraction, logic over emotion. Comment below, "My mind is my fortress." Repeat it until it burns into your identity. Because when your mind becomes your fortress, no enemy can breach it, no chaos can break it, and no world can move you without your permission. Number 8. The power of strategic detachment. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the ability to see reality without distortion, to move through chaos without contamination, to feel emotion without being enslaved by it. The Machiavellian mind understands that attachment breeds vulnerability, and vulnerability invites control. The more you need, the more you can be manipulated. The less you need, the freer you become. Detachment is not about abandoning the world. It is about mastering your response to it. You can participate in life fully, but you must never be possessed by it. Every person, every situation, every desire is a potential chain. The man who cannot walk away from something does not own it. It owns him. The world will try to seduce you with comfort, praise, affection, and validation. It will whisper in your ear that you need more, deserve more, should chase more. But the truth is brutal. Every chase weakens you. Every craving reveals your leash. Strategic detachment is the process of cutting those invisible strings one by one until you stand alone, sovereign and unshakable. You must train your emotions to obey logic. You must become capable of loving without losing yourself, of working without obsession, of succeeding without pride. When you detach from outcomes, you gain infinite power. You act because it is right, not because it guarantees reward. You build because it's your nature, not because someone will notice. Detachment turns ambition into discipline, pain into wisdom, rejection into fuel. It is not a denial of feeling. It is the mastery of it. You can admire beauty without craving it. You can face insult without reacting to it. And you can endure loss without collapsing under it. The detached man is not heartless. He is fearless. He moves through life like a strategist, not a spectator. Every emotion that passes through him becomes data. Every attachment that fades becomes liberation. You will learn that detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending. You care, but you do not cling. You feel, but you do not drown. You win, but you do not celebrate like a fool. You lose, but you do not fall into despair. Balance becomes your weapon. The Machiavellian mind thrives on this equilibrium. When people realize that nothing can emotionally shake you, they start to orbit your gravity. Detachment radiates power because it signals inner abundance. You are not desperate for approval. You generate your own validation. You are not consumed by desire. You select what aligns with your purpose. The detached man is dangerous because he cannot be bribed by pleasure or broken by pain. His silence confuses manipulators. His calmness terrifies the insecure. His lack of reaction disarms the emotional. You must reach a point where peace is your default regardless of circumstance. No praise excites you. No insult disturbs you. No chaos shakes you. That is not numbness. That is command. To achieve this, practice control over your attention. What you focus on grows. What you ignore withers. Starve negativity by giving it no reaction. Feed your power by channeling energy only into what strengthens you. Observe people's games, but never play them. Let them chase validation while you chase mastery. Let them speak loudly while your silence dictates the tone. Let them think they are winning while you are simply learning. The man of detachment plays the long game. He invests in control, not applause. You will lose people when you detach. You will intimidate the weak, annoy the emotional, confuse the ordinary. But understand this: isolation is not punishment. It is purification. Solitude is where the mind resets, where clarity is reborn, where purpose solidifies. You must walk alone long enough to realize that peace is not found in company. It is found in control. Strategic detachment makes you unpredictable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. You no longer need to chase. You attract. You no longer seek to prove. You simply are. Comment below: I need nothing. Therefore, I am free. Say it with conviction, because that is the mantra of the modern Machiavellian. The one who conquers not by fighting everything, but by mastering the art of needing nothing. When you detach from everything external, you gain everything internal. And that is the highest form of power. Number 9, the law of ruthless evolution. Evolution is not kind, it is cruel, precise, and merciless toward weakness. Nature respects only adaptation, and the same law governs power. You either evolve or you become irrelevant. The Machiavellian mind understands that stagnation is slow decay disguised as peace. Every day you remain the same. You rot a little more. To rise in this world, you must be willing to shed versions of yourself that no longer serve the empire you are building. The man attached to yesterday forfeits tomorrow. Ruthless evolution means you will betray who you were to become, who you must be. Growth is surgical. It cuts away softness, delusion, and dependency. The weak call this cruelty. The strong recognize it as clarity. Comfort whispers lullabies while it robs you of your crown. Destroy the rituals that keep you average. Break alliances with people who celebrate your stagnation. Abandon identities that flatter your ego but strangle your potential. You are not a museum for old stories. You're a forge for a new weapon. Audit your life without emotion. Which habits sharpen you? Which habits sedate you? Keep the steel, melt the rust. Your schedule is a confession. It reveals whether you worship distraction or destiny. Train until discipline becomes instinct. Work in silence until your results sound like thunder. Speak only to direct, never to explain, never to beg. Detachment is your oxygen. Praise should not inflate you. Criticism should not puncture you. Both are weather. Acknowledge. Master the art of strategic solitude. In solitude, the average man decays. The sovereign man transforms. Let pain be your instructor, not your prison guard. When life cuts, you do not leak complaints. Bleed purpose. You are not your emotions. You are the commander who assigns them roles. Anger becomes fuel. Fear becomes data. Doubt becomes drill. Every setback is a message. Evolve your approach or repeat the same defeat. Adaptation beats force. Precision beats noise. Move like water-shaping stone, unyielding in aim, flexible in method. If a door stays closed, build a new entrance. If a crowd resists you, change your arena. If a mentor fails you, become the mentor you needed. Upgrade your environment. Rearrange your habits to make failure inconvenient and excellence automatic. Guard your inputs like a paranoid king. Limit the clowns, the addicts, the dramatists. Invite the disciplined, the strategic, the sovereign. Study power the way others study entertainment. Read with purpose. Train with edge. Execute without apology. Set brutal standards and enforce them. You are building an inner court that tolerates nothing weak. Expect betrayal and plan accordingly. Keep records. Diversify leverage. Store silence like ammunition. Smile often. Reveal little. And remember that patience is a weapon the impulsive can never wield. Test yourself deliberately. Cold mornings, hard conversations, strict budgets, focused blocks, calculated risks. Each test hardens your will and proves your identity. Perseverance is not stubbornness. It is intelligent endurance guided by feedback. Measure your progress with actions, not affirmations. Track hours. Trained, pages studied, systems simplified, enemies of focus removed. The higher you climb, the fewer will understand you. Isolation is not exile. It is elevation. Let them think you changed. They are right. You executed a quiet coup against your old self. Power respects transformation. The world organizes itself around men whose standards do not bend. Hold frame when provoked. Win with absence when presence is bait. Dominate with restraint when confrontation is a trap. Use transparency as camouflage. Show results. Hide strategy. Praise your team. Conceal your leverage. Make your word impeccable and your plans unsentimental. Fire what fails. Reinforce what works. Iterate faster than they gossip. Refuse nostalgia. Yesterday's victories are trophies, not passports. The future grants entry only to the relentless. Sleep like a monk. Train like a soldier. Think like a chess master. Move like a ghost. Keep your motives clean of vanity and your methods clean of laziness. Remember the law. What you do not evolve will eventually escape, erode, or betray. You do not fear being misunderstood. Fear being unchanged. Do not fear starting over. Fear staying the same. Do not fear losing people. Fear losing momentum. Everything compounds. The discipline, the leverage, the aura. Consistency is alchemy. One day the world will call you lucky. They will. Never know how many skins you shed to arrive. Comment below. I evolve without mercy. Say it as a vow. Stamp it into your identity and move. Refuse comfort. Demand precision. Enforce standards. Adapt faster. Grow colder. Grow clearer. Grow sovereign, because evolution is not a chapter. It is the book, and only the author decides the ending. Number 10. The untouchable mind. Untouchable is not a title. It is a condition of being that only the disciplined ever reach. It is the summit of control where emotion bows to reason and impulse submits to precision. The Machiavellian man who has endured the fires of restraint, solitude, and detachment now emerges as something beyond ordinary humanity, a force of direction, a storm moving with intent. The untouchable mind is forged through years of denying comfort, mastering thought, and killing weakness without hesitation. It cannot be provoked, flattered, seduced, or broken. It operates above reaction, above chaos, above fear. This man has no masters because he has mastered himself. He understands that everything external is unstable and therefore his stability must come from within. When the world collapses, he remains calm. When others beg for guidance, he stands as the silent example. He is not a slave to opinion or circumstance. He has become the architect of his fate, a living embodiment of cold focus and unshakable will. Every insult becomes irrelevant. Every failure becomes information, and every success becomes another step toward refinement. The untouchable man is dangerous not because he seeks conflict, but because he no longer fears it. His silence carries threat. His gaze demands respect, and he doesn't chase power. He radiates it, and those who meet him feel it. The quiet authority of someone who cannot be moved. This state is not given. It is earned through relentless discipline, through the death of excuses, through years of controlling what others refuse to face themselves. The untouchable man has no emotional leash. He can lose everything and remain composed. That composure is not weakness. It is dominance. It is the power of one who no longer negotiates with distraction. You must reach this point not for pride, but for freedom. Freedom from the world's noise. Freedom from your own chaos. Freedom from the constant pull of mediocrity. When your mind becomes still and sharp, your presence becomes magnetic, your influence inevitable. Comment below. I am untouchable. Say it not as wishful thinking, but as prophecy, because the world cannot break a man who has already conquered himself. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your evolution into power has only begun.